Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday. Hopefully, you've recovered, staying up late, doing all the things that you need to do to recover from a Detroit Lions game. My goodness. We're going to recap the Lions 44-30 victory over, over the Dallas Cowboys. Your friendly, trusted DOC told you that the Detroit Lions were going to defeat. We're going to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. And the reasons I shared were, quite frankly, the right reasons. Matt Eberflus, my goodness, still hasn't learned how to adapt to the Lions. Wild stuff going on. Unfortunately, like the header says on this podcast, Lions get a W, but lose arguably their best safety. It's tough because you don't know how to feel. You feel excitement that the Lions have boosted their playoff odds to about 50%, but you're disappointed in that you've lost Brian Branch for the rest of this year and well into next year. 10 to 11 months with a torn Achilles. It was bad. If you follow us at Detroit Podcast, starting with our early coverage of the game, you saw Amon-Ra St. Brown photos. You saw, I put on my internet doctor hat for all of 30 seconds. I said, Amon-Ra looks good. He's playing. So I'm only going to do the internet doctor thing for 30 seconds at a time. I'll let the others, but the others have already showed Brian Branch before you read the articles. You can see Brian Branch's calf kind of snap a little bit. You see the torn Achilles. It's online. People have zoomed in. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't like typically to flash a player's injury and say, hey, look at this guy get hurt. But it's out there, so you can't complain about it too much. But we're going to talk all about it. The Lions got a good victory. Now, what's wild is a lot of my colleagues picked the Dallas Cowboys to win. They're very hopeful. They use all their stats. They dig into all the numbers, but they couldn't come up with the conclusion that Eberflus sucks as a defensive coordinator. Well, it's because they don't have Dak Prescott as their quarterback. They didn't put the puzzle together. Football is like one big puzzle. Sometimes it's nice when you can brag a little bit when you put the puzzle together. I was like, wait a minute. Jadeveon Clowney potentially is not going to be there. Their left tackle got hurt. Al-Quadin feasted. And it's the Cowboys. Did you guys notice they were 6-5-1 or whatever their record was? Their record wasn't that great. I think people were scared and they overcorrected regarding what the Lions did against the Packers, but they didn't take into account that Dallas sucks at times. Dallas lost to the Cardinals. And I felt like the Lions were quite confident that they could take advantage and Dan Campbell could out-scheme Eberflus. Dan Campbell, John Morton can easily out-scheme Eberflus. And if you listen to Crunch Time Sports, I laid out the exact way it was going to go down. Waffling a little bit, I said I thought it would be a closer game, but my heart said it was going to be a blowout. So I talked about it. I'm very happy. I was happy with my prediction for the Lions. Gave you guys a little hope. And I'm negative. On paper, the Lions supposed to lose. These phony baloney stats are hurting. These phony baloney stats that these guys love to live in hate the Lions. I don't get it. They crunch in their numbers, and it comes out that the Lions are going to lose to the Cowboys. That's how Vito put out there. We respect it, but me, Emmett, or as they say, Christian, Emmett, and I picked the Lions. And you can check out our predictions every game day at 7 a.m. We'll have it sharp, what we think is going to happen. And I shared my thoughts on Crunch Time in-depthly, which I also said, hey, I got to flex a little bit. That was a good segment that I did. I was like, the Lions are going to win. Helping guys smile a little bit. It's Eberflus. Eberflus is not going to come in there and into Ford Field and dominate you when you're desperate. Are you kidding me? It's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a mirror image of Jared Goff. And you got the Rams, Jared Goff from Dak Prescott yesterday. What's your reaction? The Detroit Lions defeated the Dallas Cowboys 44-30. We're going to start with the good news for the first portion of the show. I'm only going to be here till about 2:40. Please excuse me. I don't think my energy is going to dip, but I am feeling it. Got in. I saw an accident on my way out of Ford Field. The dumbest people I think on earth were out there at 1:30 in the morning, a massive truck slammed into a car. Two people couldn't figure out how to navigate a little passageway. As I'm walking out to the parking lot, I'm looking and I got enthralled by this nonsense outside of Ford Field. Boom! The truck hits the car, and no police were called. The car just left. Weird ending to that game for me. But got home at about 2:30. Put out some more content at 6 a.m. So I was in bed at 4, up at 5:30. I woke up. I felt it. But I look pretty good on this camera. Looking pretty good. But I'm feeling it now. 1 cup of coffee in. So pardon me if the thought doesn't exactly fire from the brain to the mouth. But I wanted to do this. I said I'd do it in the 1 o'clock hour. I'm here to read your comments and to share a great victory. The 8th victory of the season for the Detroit Lions. Shout out to the early people listening in here, the first 125 people. Detroit Fan Man, PPW, A, Green, Brent DeWitt. Spam the feel free, Brent, spam the chat with our emojis. That's great. I'll share with you how to get them. Joe Ferris, Steve, oh, baby. Thank you guys for checking in. Always appreciate checking in with the comments. And like I said, here's how we support the Detroit Lions Lone Wolves podcast. Hit the like button. If you're watching this, we air this live on 2 platforms, X and YouTube. If you're enjoying this, just hit the like button. Hit the notification tab. I do announce on X typically what time within 5-10 minutes, I'm Middle Eastern. So give me 5-10 minutes of when I actually say I'm coming on. People call me, the phone rings, agents want to hit me up. I want to hit up agents. I want to talk. Triple confirming news, preparing shows. So the Lions, what is your reaction to the win? It felt good. Did you think at any point that the Lions were in danger of winning that early in the game? I didn't. I feel like the Lions got control and held on pretty well. The offense was purring. It looked good, and you got to see some David Montgomery action. Many people like to see the way in which that offense could flow. And like I said, I was typically surprised that Pickens, when CeeDee Lamb went out of the game, that's a bonus for the Lions. But I was surprised that CeeDee Lamb, first of all, it's unfortunate for CeeDee Lamb. He got a concussion. I saw him leave. He kind of quietly left when the locker room opened. He had all the swagger, but he was quiet. He just kind of walked from the locker room to the back and to the transportation, taking the Cowboys out. But the Lions offense was great. JMO, first and foremost, what's your guys' reaction? What do you think of the win? We have to credit Amon-Ra St. Brown. You cannot start a stream after that game and go, wow, that guy knew the day before. That guy knew that he was going to play. I thought that basically, based on what Dan Campbell was saying, I figured he would not play. But wow, give him credit for being somebody that is willing to sacrifice for his team. And he played well. He played really well, guys. That's a great performance. And I love what Dan Campbell said. He's like, Amon-Ra is an example, a shining example of us. We go as he goes. And Amon-Ra was on point. He was doing his thing. And he was playing great. And he was, cutting across the middle. The Lions took advantage of some of the weaknesses of the Cowboys secondary. And the Cowboys were shorthanded too. They weren't exactly healthy. Jadeveon Clowney, who had a couple sacks in previous games for the Cowboys in their winning streak, he wasn't there. But that's not our problem. That's their problem. It's their problem that they got a wide receiver that's all flash and no grit. The Lions got flash and grit. Jameson Williams is growing up right before everybody's eyes, and it's good. Sometimes he's going to make some small mistakes here and there, but it's great to see what he's able to accomplish. Great to see that Amon-Ra St. Brown was able to unbelievably grind it out and get through that game. And he performed well. He was healthy. And it was great to see too, because the Dallas colleagues were there and they said the same thing I did. Within 2 minutes, they were like, wait a minute, this guy don't look like he's got no bum wheel. And it was great. It was great to see. You know, it was great to see the offense move the ball. Great to see Jahmyr Gibbs get 3 touchdowns. Great to see David Montgomery get some action. So, what's your reaction? Let me get to some of you guys. Lee Fisher, first time in here. Lee Fisher, 5387. St. Brown is a stud. Looked to be about 80% speed. Good enough last night. Absolutely. The connection with Jared Goff is always going to be strong. If you have any comments that you absolutely want read, super chats are always open. Little as a couple bucks. You support the stream. You keep the lights on. And all the money goes right back into the podcast and supports journalism. Christian, Vito, Emmett, keeping the lights on here in the wonderful Sterling Heights, Michigan studios. Broski wants to celebrate a win. Broski Bear, 40-40. John, congrats on the win. And congrats on predicting it. A lot of people weren't predicting the Lions. It was 50-50 across the board. National media were split. I just had a feeling. Of course, I knew the numbers. That's what kind of made me feel like the numbers made me kind of feel like it was going to be a closer game. But I felt that my expertise, the psychology, the notion that the Lions would lock in with their situation took me over the top. And plus, there was a curveball that I think people forgot that is an outlier that no stat measures. Eberflus stinks as a defensive coordinator. He stinks, which I said repeatedly. I'm like, Dak has a chance to go off, and I put it in my prediction. I said the Lions are getting turnovers. You could pressure Dak. And well, how do I know? I've had so many -2s on my fantasy team that I don't know why I keep falling in love with Dak, because there are some games he goes off for 50, and then others it's like 6 because he's thrown 4 interceptions. But it was funny to see the swagger that he brought to the table. I told you he brought swagger. He got interviewed by a reporter, and he's like, I'm going off. But luckily, Al-Quadin Muhammad went off. Guys, we got to talk about it. I didn't put it as a banner, but we got to talk about it. Is Aiden Hutchinson the right guy opposite of Al-Quadin Muhammad? Al-Quadin might be the star. I might be being sarcastic, but is Aiden Hutchinson the right defensive end opposite of Al-Quadin? Now, guys, listen, I know that some people want to puff out the pass rush off of that, but it's the Cowboys. Like, come on. Like, it was, you know, they gave their attention to Aiden, and Al-Quadin fed. He ate. But it's the Cowboys. They're not the bastion of protecting Dak Prescott. That's why they throw the ball and get it out quickly, and they try to run their offense. Steve is pounding the horn. Should have stuck with Montgomery. He's an asset. Yeah, he is somebody that I think they're realizing that is an asset that you should not forget. He said it. He's like, please, guys, don't forget me. I don't know if he was talking to the media or the coaching staff. Might have been the coaching staff because all the buzz with Jahmyr Gibbs. But you guys know that Dan loves Jahmyr Gibbs. I think David Montgomery will be utilized even more down the stretch. Joe Besco 5592. TK85 was in beast mode on the kickoffs. I was surprised they kicked to him that often. It's nice to see. He's a great story. On the practice squad, on the 53, always waved in training camp, always back, around. He's just been around. And I think Dan Campbell loves having a player like that. That is probably the best way to put it is he's a 4A player in baseball, but he's the 54th man on the team. But Tom Kennedy is the perfect example and the prime reason you would say roster should be elevated to 60, 65 players. He deserves a roster spot. He's a grinder. And I think you got a fun competition between him and Kyle Freeman if and when he comes back. You got his replacement potentially. He did pretty good. And everybody loves seeing TK85 get a game ball. You could tell it impacted him the way the Lions respect him because he works hard. They see a guy that maybe is not the most talented, but is maximizing his opportunity with working hard and studying and being patient and learning on the practice squad so that when you get your opportunity, boom, you execute. Green 713. Go Lions. It's a good victory Friday for a lot of people. But with the good comes the bad. PPW, with our safeties being out and Meek and Reed playing not the best, playing like trash. We need to be selective with Hutch and his snap count. Dude was definitely gassed in the fourth. Also, I want to see more Yasin in there. Yeah, I do think that probably tomorrow or Sunday, we'll do a more comprehensive look at that in regards to Aiden. But you're absolutely right. Aiden is playing too much. Relatively speaking, compared to those, he's the only one in the top 10 outside of a couple that's playing 95% of snaps. You know, a lot of guys, the averages that are in the top 10 are like around 70, 75% of snaps. So he's playing too much. He is gassed. And when you're battling, you know, you are risking wearing him out. But he's got the young engine. He's the young bull. So you're absolutely right, PPW. There's no one that's going to argue that. Brent, hey, Doc, Branch injury is a big setback. Kenley or Strickland coming back? We're going to talk about that, Brent. Great question. I wanted to set it up, but we'll talk about that in just a couple minutes. I do want to address the game and get your guys' reaction to the game. Does this give you hope against the Rams? That the Lions right now are 50% to make the playoffs. They got to go 3-1. That gives them a more than 90% chance to go 11 and 6. That should get you into the postseason with a wild card. But a lot of things have to happen. Could you imagine if the Bears knock you out? Not to put some fear out there, but that Bears game might be huge. You might have to travel out to Chicago at the end of the year. But first and foremost, why did the Lions win? They were able to take advantage of the weaknesses of the Cowboys. They took advantage. Al-Quadin Muhammad, 3 sacks, 5 overall for the Lions. The pass rush was there. 1. 2, you were able to convert turnovers into points. They made mistakes. You made them pay. You made them pay. You made a bad team. Listen, the Cowboys are the epitome of what I don't like in football. They got a lot of hype, a lot of pizzazz, but not a lot of substance. Lions got St. Brown. They got Pickens. You see the difference? You see how – did you guys see Sherman trashed George Pickens and showed his film, showed him loafing? He was loafing because he didn't want to be physical with the Lions secondary. That's right. Lions are grit and toughness, and the Cowboys are flash and overrated. But let's start with this. That first drive pissed me off. I almost spoke in the press box. Typically, I'm quiet. This game, I only opened my mouth a couple times. I think the true bastion of a professional is, you know, I'm a loudmouth, but you turn that off when you're in the press box. You just watch the game, document it, take notes for when you're going to air stuff out. But I almost said something. I almost broke the code. I almost said, what the James Houston sacks Jared Goff early in the game. Did you guys see what that looked like? That's what we're craving here. Now, we need a better player. James Houston is a 15-snap guy. But he has a role. He can sack a quarterback. And he does it with speed. That's where the Lions are lacking. They like bull rushers. But you also need just one guy that can speed rush. Like, boom, get to the quarterback fast. A guy that can kind of push the quarterback into Aiden. You see the speed rush that James Houston had? It messed up the first drive. Field goal. 10-yard sack. But then he had a boneheaded play and took a penalty. That was stupid. I want a version of James Houston. I don't want James Houston. I want a version of James Houston on the Lions. Speed rusher. Speed. Speed kills. Speed. S-P-E-E-D. That can off the edge. But let's credit Al-Quadin Muhammad. 3 sacks. Took advantage of that youth at left tackle. Credit to Al-Quadin Muhammad. Is Aiden Hutchinson the right defensive end opposite of Al-Quadin? I do think that Ahmed Hassanin can be that. For sure. Yet to be determined. Speed, baby. Speed and power. Sure does, Joseph. Helps playing with the lead. The Lions clearly took advantage of the home momentum. They were moving the football, and they were able to get the lead and hold on, which was a good sign. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs was able to cap off, and then you took advantage. What did the Lions need? Turnovers. Jack Campbell, boom, pops the ball out. Poor Cowboys. Lee Fisher, 14 points off turnovers. Critical. That's how you win. The defense showed out. You guys see Dan Campbell at the half manifested another turnover. So early on, it was a little bit of a defensive grind, but then it got into gear with Jahmyr Gibbs and J-Mo and explosive plays. Oh, you guys are definitely bringing up all the things I don't want to know about. 4th and 60, always good to see you. Thank you for hopping in. Thank you for the 300 people now that are in here, over 20 minutes. I love it. I love to see that people stick and stay. Hit the like button for me. And I keep saying it because the more you do it, the more it helps the stream, the more I can keep doing it. Maybe one day I'll get to 5 days a week. You never know. You guys say I have a big ego. I've never called this the John Macaroon Show. I don't even know if I like that. I like the Lone Wolves podcast. But who knows if someday this gets distributed to even bigger platforms. I don't think I could even call it, I think it's gaudy, the John Macaroon Show. Oh, it does the more I say it. What do you think? It sounds good, right? Welcome, everybody, to the John Macaroon Show. Nah, I like it. The Lone Wolves podcast. That one brings a smile to my face. See, I don't really have an ego. The Lone Wolves podcast. Cody, always good to see you in here. Cody Utes. Y-O-U-T-Z. Davenport, non-existent. I hope that this ends this experiment. Yeah, I do think that Al-Quadin, but they are matchup based. And remember, Davenport's getting back. He's a big body. But yeah, he's got to produce. We need production. But now, again, let me toot my own horn here. At Detroit Podcast, on that scroll, early in the morning, you may not have seen it. But please, if you don't like X, you're older, you don't like it, just go on there, start an account, and just follow one person. Follow me. You got to see video of Aiden. Guys, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but toot. Aiden was quiet yesterday after the game, and Al-Quadin was talking. So you see the videos. I posted the videos. Aiden was potentially going to be able to skirt out. I said, no, So he was sitting down. If you guys notice the video, he's sitting down. Typically, he's standing up, and then I get boxed out. So I saw Al-Quadin. I got the quote from Al-Quadin. It was perfect. There were still 10 people there. And I said, hey, Aiden, man, can I get a couple seconds? He's like, yeah, give me a couple seconds to tidy up my look, because he was just getting his shirt on. He was just getting fresh. And I said, yes. I said, okay. So then quietly, when 6-7 people were talking to Al-Quadin, I started the talk with Aiden. I said, hey, what'd you think of the game? What'd it mean to you? Da-da-da. And he let out some good stuff. And I do think that if, I know everybody likes because all the TV cameras are there, but he was comfortable sitting down. He was way more comfortable to let some stuff out. When he's standing up and there's 50 cameras in his face, it's not comfortable for them. But he was sitting down, and thanks to me, we got some insights. So toot to me. I started the ad, and then, of course, everybody came in and filled in. But he said the coaching staff challenged the defensive line, and they took the reins off. They said, go and pressure the quarterback. Meaning that when he said they took the reins off, it was a mentality. Like, stop getting all in your head. Stop worrying about if you get sacks or not. Just, if you have the chance to get the sack, get it this game and go to the next snap. But he said, I think they're playing with a better mentality. Like, they felt, you know why? Because they're playing the Cowboys. The Cowboys are ass. They felt like, you see the power of positivity and manifestation? They went into it going, we can sack these guys. They went and said, that's the crazy parts. But they had a better mentality, and he was comfortable. He said, like, we're going to keep it going. You can see those videos cut up at Detroit Podcast. I'm not taking it from anybody. When I report, I try to give you original content from my phone. And you can see Aiden sitting down is at my level. Aiden's looking right at me, eye level. He stands up. He's a 1.5 feet taller. So you can see, too. You can laugh. You can laugh along with me. If you see Isaac Tesla, he's looking down at me as he's a 6'5" receiver and I'm a 5'5" reporter. So the best videos are always when Aiden's doing his weekly stand-up, and Jameson and everybody else, they're always looking down at me because my camera has to be like this and it's always looking up because I'm short. So you can know my films. You can know who's doing the filming. Like, oh, when you see it aggregated, you can see it. Oh, that's Doc. Oh, because the camera's looking way up at the player who's a foot taller than me. But this one was one of the rare Aiden Hutchinson eye level video that you're going to see. So go appreciate it and watch it at Detroit Podcast. Thank you so much. I Ain't Say That is now a new YouTube member. Welcome, welcome. Make sure you take advantage of the 3 emojis that you just unlocked. Me, Hefe, and Booner. Spam the chat with them. We could see it all day long. Congrats. You're now a new YouTube member. It's very much affordable to get inside information. You can now check out the insider video that not many people are going to know about. I brought a YouTube video about Taylor Decker and his retirement plans. Insider information that you're not going to hear if you don't pay for a subscription. So check it out. We'll try to give you as many insider videos as possible. I think you'll like that one. On-demand videos about some of the happenings. I Ain't Say That. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You take advantage of the emojis, any chat. Appreciate you. The Lions' victory to me with the Cowboys was refreshing. You played well. The only thing that upset me, and I got to sing. I almost sang in that video too. You can see when the Temptations came on. I don't care if they're 80 years old. You know, I was singing along. I guess you'd say. I was like, oh man, this is great. $5 super chat, a membership and a super chat. I Ain't Say That. Thank you for your contributions, man. That means a lot to me. Where are you hitting us from? We'll know where you're listening in from. We're in Sterling Heights, Michigan. I'm a Detroiter. I think you know everything about me. I'm a Detroiter. I was a former Lions season ticket holder. I turned a podcast into an NFL career. Who'd have thunk it? Doc, can you ask the players how they feel now still being hunted? Could this be an advanced 2023 squad? Great work. Thank you so much. I will ask. We won't see the players until Monday. No, won't see the players until Wednesday of next week. But I'll remember that, how they feel still being the hunted. No, I don't think they're still hunted. They're the hunters. They're outside the playoffs. But no, people do respect the Lions. The whole league knows that Dan Campbell brings football the way it's supposed to be. The problem with the Lions is a couple of the engines blew a spark. Your offensive line maybe got a new spark with Miles Frazier. Now, can Miles Frazier please stop jumping off sides or, flinching? False start. Now, here's the funny part about the internet and covering sports before we get back into football talk. You all figured out he was wearing Gucci. I was like, what kind of suit is this he's wearing? And I'm more focused on getting the video right, getting the angle right, not getting boxed out or poked by these video people. The television crews not getting bumped around. And yesterday was unusual in that, we just started talking to Miles and we got the one last question. I think I spoke to him for all of 100 seconds. Last question. I think I heard him say thank you when the lady cut us off. I was like, dang, that was quick. I was about to start getting some talks. So I think he's getting comfortable with that. But I guess he was wearing Gucci. You guys were all noticing something about it. Go check it out. I don't know. He was fly. That's so outside my realm. I'm a St. John's Bay collared shirt guy. I didn't know he was wearing Gucci. He was wearing Gucci. Ask the players, do they feel like they're still the hunted? I will, for sure. Could this be an advanced 2023 squad? Listen, man, I ain't say that. The way I perceive the team is they have some against a good defensive line. Jared Goff's going to have to get the ball out quick. They're going to have to use Jahmyr Gibbs and have answers for pressure. They can still make a run, but I don't know if they have an offensive line and a defensive line against good teams worthy to be as productive as they need to be. But I think they're going to fix it. You saw against the Eagles and some good teams like the Vikings who defensively can do some things. There's going to be some challenges. But, hey, the Lions, this could work out. The Lions are in playoff mode. They have to win. This could be a good thing. This could be the start of something special. We'll see. I ain't say that. Thank you. I look forward to seeing. Where are you from? Welcome to the community. I'm glad you're a member. We got almost 40 members. That's really great, guys. Thank you. How are you perceiving this win? Are the Lions a team now moving forward that can do some things? Yeah, shout out where you guys are from. Marquette, Jeff O'Neill. Nice. Yeah, hit me up in the comments. Where are you from? Where are you listening from? The internet, YouTube. You back as a member, Anakin? Great. Hit spam the comments. I want to see my emoji. My kids love it. They're like, they literally said they're at that age now, the preteen years, where they're like, you literally put a picture of yourself and have people pay for it. I said, they support. It's a give and take. I bring information, I comment, I share what I know. I directly ask questions that they want to know. And they're like, they literally will put your face on there. I'm like, yeah, crunch time. Glen Lake, Holland. Nice. Shout out. I'm in Sterling Heights. Thank you, Anakin, for coming back. Become a member again. Be a member. The more members, the more we can do. Maybe if I get great membership, then the Lions will give me prime parking. Had to call in a favor yesterday in the cold. Jaffu. So basically, we play Dallas. We lose Pro Bowlers. No more Dallas. I know we play Dallas every freaking year. But I'm telling you something. They have an aura about them. Like, they're like, if you know me, they're like Michigan. They just a little overrated. Everybody talks about them like they're gold, but they're really fake gold. Everybody talks about them like they're, I can't believe I'm going to say this, and it sounds so beautiful, it's going to make me smile. Please don't take offense to it. I'm a Spartan, and give me a little bit of 5 minutes. We got a gold daddy. Listen, give me 2 minutes. I just spoke for 30 minutes about the football. Let me talk about something about myself real fast. The Spartans got a sugar daddy, guys. The Spartans got a sugar daddy, and he dropped $400 million. This is the first I ever heard of this guy. And I guess he's having a love affair with Tom Izzo. These dudes are about to cry and hug each other. Tom Izzo's like, oh, thank you. $400 million. I would start crying. $400 million. This insurance guy, thank you. The biggest donation in the history of donations was not from Michigan. Although Larry Ellison can match it pretty easily. We got an arms race. We got an arms race in Michigan. We got the rich people donating. This guy's like, I want to win. Hell yeah, sugar daddy, pay up. We need more money. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we got a sugar daddy. Mr. Williams, we love you right away from the talk. Thank you. $400 million. What do you got to do? I'm going to stand at attention. Thank you. I listened to every word of that dude. I was like, you're just going to drop. Who the hell can drop $400 million? I don't even know if I had $400 million. Could I take it out of my pocket and give it to Michigan State? Wait, so if I give $400 million, I can get a press conference for an hour? I don't know if I'll ever get to that level, but that's something to strive for. The biggest donation. We back, baby. The reports of the Spartans' demise were greatly exaggerated. We got cash. Let's go. We back on the map, baby. We ain't going to pay $2 million again for Aiden Childs. We getting good players. We eating steak. We eating filet. We were eating the skirt steak, the burritos from Meyer for $1.99 for years. We eating filet. I got to get that guy's number. Listen, you want to sponsor a podcast? I'm pretty reliable. I'll do it every single day. Yes, sir. Whatever you want. I'll tell them that this is the greatest insurance of all time. Absolutely, Mr. Williams. Yes. Yes, sir. Whatever you want. You want to wash your car? Whatever you need. You want some shawarmas? Hummus? Tabbouleh? Homemade. Be in your doorstep in 20 minutes. Listen, I'm going to need like $2 million. We need a tight end. And I'm going to need $20 million for an offensive line. I'm going to need another 20 for a defensive line. Thank you. We got a credit line. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The reports of the Spartans' demise was greatly exaggerated. You got to compete. And at least, I don't know if they're going to spend it wisely. Who the hell knows? But finally, that was a good news, man. That sparked me more than the coach hiring. Steve Lehman is a member. Thank you. Thank you. That means the world to me. Thank you. 3 new members today. Lion Forever 72. Unlock those emojis. Spam the emojis. Use them freely. Thank you guys humbly for the opportunity to be an official paid member of the group. 3 today. That's awesome. Thank you. Super chats are always open. I ain't say that. Shout out to you. Steve Lehman, you're the best. A1. I know you're paying attention. You have great, strong opinions, and they're probably right. And look at you, Lion Forever, gifted 10 Lions on SI memberships. Wow, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the gifted memberships to these people. That's the first time I've seen someone do that here. Thank you, Lion Forever. So that means you just paid for something for other people that just collect it as a gift. I don't have to do anything. That's really nice. That's really nice. So you gave one to Lion's Den, Anakin maybe. That's really nice to drop money for others. Oh, look what I put up here. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Listen, if you're a gifted member, I'll even say that. The reports of the Spartans' demise are greatly exaggerated. My wife's like, why are you jumping up and down? Aren't you tired? I'm like, we got a sugar daddy. She's like, $400 million? I'm like, I am lazy. I am not declaring I'm lazy, but how the hell I never heard of this guy? This guy's been giving money up and down for years. I was in the dark. I was deflated, demoralized. Listen, Mel Tucker couldn't handle his phones. I mean, what coach beats Michigan, brings a running back, an NFL caliber running back, beats Michigan, beats Aiden Hutchinson senseless, and can't understand how to use his phone properly? Doesn't know how to pay for it without getting caught. He chose literally the worst person that's going to sue you, allegedly. Take your time. Listen, if you can't, the free way is to like, comment as much as possible, or just tell people, hey, I know this humble guy that we can trust. Don't ever worry if you can't. I love the commenters as much as the members. Exactly, man. Detroit fan, man. These donations about to make Doc tear up. Hell yeah. You know what it's like? Because I relate to it. When you're a podcaster, you're just viewed differently. You're just viewed as like an outsider. And when you're a Spartan and you're a Lions fan and you're a podcaster, have a little faith, a little sympathy for me. I supported the Lions. They lost every game in a season that I watched. An entire year. You know how hard that is? People are like, you should just be a slappy. You know how hard that is when you lose every game? 16 in a row, and you're battling and you're wearing your hat and you're watching every game and getting excited, and you lose 16 in a row? That's hard. And you're a Spartan fan and you're always underneath Michigan. And then you had the greatest coach in your building in Nick Saban, and he left because you wouldn't give him money. So it's like you're standing right at the door of greatness. It's like you're in the front of the line to get in the club, and all the beautiful women come in and they're like, we're going to open the door. And they let all the Wolverines in, and you're just standing outside. You're too short, man. We can't let you in. Look at you. You ain't wearing Gucci. You're wearing the same freaking St. John's shirt you've been wearing since you were 15 years old. You know how hard that is as a sports fan for 30 years? And then we got that small little window where we could puff out our chest against Michigan. And then Michigan said, we can't have that. The silly slappy Spartans are coming back. We got to cheat allegedly, we got to cheat to get back on top. And then they do it the right way and win the title. So, yeah, I'm going to tear up. I just want to be in the club. The SEC is the club. Michigan's the club. Now the Spartans are in the club. Let's battle. Let's battle on the playing field. Let's see. We're on an even playing field. Thank you for listening to that. I was excited. Back to football. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the gifted memberships. It's unbelievable, Lion Forever, what you're doing. just giving out these gifts. Was it 30 gifts you've given out? I don't even know how this works technically. If everybody's in here just getting one or I got to do it, you tell me. The gifts part I'm not used to. Lion forever. Thank you. I don't even know what a gifted really, that part I don't know. I'll ask the guys. What is a gifted membership? Like you are the one giving these out, or do I got to dispose of them? Anakin, we effectively ended the Cowboys season. Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh, they auto pick. Nice. So just a random person will just be like, you are now a member of this because of you. That's even beautiful. User friendly. Lion Forever 72. God bless you. You've made my day. You've made all my tiredness go away for the 2-hour sleep. No, you don't got to be. All slappies are welcome. I like that. If you're a slappy, come in here and debate me. Tim, that's awesome. And I learned something new. It's random. See, I learned something new. 30 memberships? Wow. Wow. No, you're the man. No, man, you're the man. You're really going to make me tear up. First, the Spartans get cash. Then the Lions win. And I'm a media member. And I heard the Temptations live. And you donated 30 gifts. You're the man. Thank you, man. It makes it all worth it to grind like this. YouTube picks the gifts randomly unless you're like me and you're on a YouTube bad list. Well, keep being a member. And spam now all the new members. Spam those. I want to see them. Spam those emojis. Thank you for the little sidebar. That made me feel good to talk a little bit about Michigan State. And we go back and forth. Like, I really don't really hate Wolverine. Most Wolverines are not the Walmarts. The ones I hate are the arrogant ones. Hell yeah. Spam the emojis. Hell yeah. All right. We talked about the positivity. Does this give you confidence that the Lions can beat the Rams? I think they can compete. Might be tough to win because, as with everything, you know, the other shoe had to drop. I was right there in the end zone. That's where they put me, is right in the end zone where I can see. I saw a branch get hurt. And from my perspective, let me tell you how it went down. He goes down in the end zone. He tries to get up, and it's not going right. Stays down for a minute. They convert, and I got concerned when he walked off the field. It was so slow with the help, and then he's right. Literally, look, I'm looking down right at him. It's two trainers in branch, and he ain't moving. And there was a moment where he pauses, and I think he started to feel like maybe some of that weightlessness that you feel when you pop an Achilles. Like he wasn't moving. And it was a minute, and he was standing straight up with two trainers, and he wasn't moving. I think at that moment he realized it was bad. And he got on the cart, and that's when I knew it wasn't great. You hate to see it, and then the internet doctors this morning showed the tape closer. I don't typically do that. If you guys like that kind of in-depth coverage, I don't do that. I'm like nervous always taking pictures pregame. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to take photos, not take, but everybody else is. So I'm like, okay, I'll take a photo, Amon-Ra. I figure, it's not going to be that horrible. Others were taking film of him getting carded. I try not to do that. It was unfortunate because you're live reacting. Everybody's seeing it. It took a little of the shine off because you're like, no, how is it possible that you get potentially one back in Kirby Joseph, who's missed 7 games? You have 2 top-end safeties. You don't even get a whole year with them when they're balling. And then you hear the reports. I knew something was bad. You can tell. When Dan says, I'll know tomorrow, that means they're doing a big test. Like with broken bones, you get the instant diagnosis. When that's the code. When Dan doesn't give an update and they got to do a big test, I'll know more tomorrow. They're doing a big test for a bad injury. Now I got to figure out, because I do a lot of interviews in the locker room. I talked to like 11 people yesterday. I didn't see Branch with the boot. I didn't see him at all. I was talking to Amik and the Gucci Man, Miles Frazier, and you can see the video with me and Alex Anzalone and Isaac Tesla, and Aiden Hutchinson, Al-Qadim Muhammad, Jameer Gibbs. So how concerned are you with this loss? It's going to cost him 10, 11 months. You're looking at probably similar to Lee McNeil this year, October, November. And Thomas Harper, concussion. So now you got a problem, man. It's unfortunate. It's a devastating loss. It brought down the mood, you know? It brought down how everybody felt about that game. The keys to wisdom. Maybe TK can play safety too. Joseph, Brian Branch, bummer. Tim France. If we ever needed Kirby, now is that time. I like it, John Jones. The Rams can't win against us. Are some of you guys receiving these gifts? I think I have it on, but I will look. I think I have gifting on. That's why he gifted, you know, I think 30, maybe the first 10 got him. Lions Den in Dallas, I think, got a gift. If you got a gift, make sure you thank Lions Forever. That's an amazing, amazing thing to do randomly, man. And spam the emoji. Spam the emoji. I want to keep seeing them. Silent service. Got to go back to work. Are you being on crunch time? I was on yesterday, and I previewed the win. It was a good interview, good hour. Go check it out. If you're a Michigan fan, Booner got a good closing argument. Got a half a point for it. Man, John Jones, that's nice. You got the best show. What do you like about it? What should I keep doing to ensure that this thing keeps thriving and the Lone Wolves podcast can build the community that I want? I think it's starting to happen. That you guys just see he's diligent. You can trust him. He's entertaining, not boring, and a little wild. Want to hear a wild story? It's not wild. It's defiant. I don't know why I share these things. Probably get me in trouble, but I laughed openly. So Jameer Gibbs does his interview. If you see it, if they air it, I don't know. Did they bleep it out? It's a little inside locker room, and I was almost gonna laugh because I'm funny this way. So Jameer, I don't know how he maneuvered himself. He was far away from his own personal locker. He stands by this open door. So if you go check out his interview, he's by this open door, and we're all talking to him. And a PR lady's like, "Stop blocking the door, please." She says it once, and Jameer keeps talking, and we ignore it. We're all just going like this, and Jameer's talking, laughing. 2 more minutes pass. "Please stop knocking the door, please." She says it louder. And Jameer Gibbs is talking. So in order for us to not block the door, he's got to move. Unless she was talking to other media and they moved. But it was funny because she kept saying it and I didn't think nobody was moving because when Jameer's talking, you have to listen. So we're all just sitting there and someone keeps saying, "Hey, don't block the door." So maybe I think that she might have blocked off the other people. Because what happens is you form like a little circle. And then other people start coming all around. So I don't know. It was funny to me because she kept saying it and nobody did anything. Like we were all frozen listening to Jameer because he talked so lightly and so humbly, you can't hear him. So I was laughing. I'm like, "Listen, we ain't moving. No one's moving. We were trying to listen to Jameer." So we blocked the door. We're the bad reporters, I guess. Oh, man. "Stop blocking the door." But nobody was moving, and Jameer was talking. So I think the message should have been, "Jameer, can you kind of move over a little bit in front of a locker?" I wanted to say, how do you want me to move from this position? And I'm kind of boxed in by other reporters. It's like this. You know, me and my TV neighbors are hugging in the same space. How am I going to move? And I'm like, I want to hear Jameer. Lions forever. Just keep being you. That's the best thing about the channel. And that's the nicest thing you can say is just do your thing, Doc. And that's what I know. In this space, that's the best I can do. John Jones, you are amazing. No, John Jones, in the end, you guys are amazing. And that's why I do it. Not for media adulation. I can't even get on the Lions podcast. Side note, they went through the entire media list. The entire list, top to bottom. And I didn't get invited. They probably heard I'm not going to accept it at this point. But top to bottom. Top to bottom. You know what that did for me? Put mother effing fuel in my tank, baby. You're going to ignore me? Yeah, you can't have my Middle Eastern flair up there. I'll get you all your sponsors ripped off in one foul interview. Get the fuck out of here. Salem Bad Mood. Salem Bad Moon Rising 4084. The draft is going to be huge. Hell yeah, it's going to be huge. Dan does not hate me. But I do want to see that. Just put, one person, Steve, you can be put that in the comment every day. Dan hates you. Dan Campbell hates you. Put that in the chat at least once every time you're in this. It'll just make me smile. In the end, I hope that those listening to this, the 350 people, that's how you know you're kind of doing the job right. You can't ask them puff questions for 5 years. No human can do that. I'm a grown man with grown man questions. Dan, will you come on my podcast? I'm ready. Doc, did you join my Jared Goff yardage bets to win big? I gave you an hour notice before the game to get in. I don't typically make my bets public. The ones that I do, I have a betting expert that I like to work with. He was my first editor, actually, to show you guys how loyal I am. Drew Ellis was an editor at the Oakland Press, and he edited our stuff. And so when he left there and did other stuff, I said, hey, yeah, if you want to promote anything, give us a gambling opinion. We'll put it out there. So I bet his recommendations. He's a winning player. But I'll say this: the bankroll's pretty good, and I take advice from a lot of people, and you may be one of them. Thanks, everybody. It's cool, right? Is Aiden Hutchinson the right defensive end opposite of Al-Quadin Muhammad? Guys, what's the impact now? I got about 5 minutes left before I have to get out of here. Thank you. Just our initial recap of the game. Good win. But here's a problem. What do you guys think? I put it on at Detroit Podcast. What do you think? If they go internal, they're going to stick with Avonte Maddox and maybe Rock Ya-Sin. Do they go to the practice squad? There's Eric Hallett. There's Lauren Strickland. They are firmly jacketed Legion of Boom members. Legion of whom members? Thomas Harper has to clear protocol. So you could go Thomas Harper in 2 weeks. You could be looking at Thomas Harper and Avonte Maddox. Or do you put Rock Ya-Sin back there? Do you guys want Justin Simmons? Guys, he is old. And I never want to insult the fans. I never want to. But I'm in agreement with some of the media members. Like, guys, Darius Slay is past his prime. He's slowed down. The Steelers need cornerbacks. Their defense stinks. They're not letting guys go. Darius Slay is held on too long. He's held on too long. He should retire. It's his last year. The one that I would have liked would have been Quandre Diggs. He went back to Seattle. But guys, Justin Simmons reeks of desperation. I feel like he's going to be like the linebacker you got last year. A couple of weeks, he might get hurt. He's not going to contribute. He has his worst grades. His last year was his terrible year. Guys, teams universally don't isolate guys out. They give them chances, and it's not going to work. I think you look for practice squads across the board. Maybe You can look at some of the list of names that we're going to put out, this weekend, but there's a lot of good names out there. What do you guys think is the best option to replace Brian Branch this year? He's out for the year. I know you guys love Justin Simmons, but I think you might roll with Maddox and Harper. Maybe you check out Hallett and Strickland if they can do anything. Huh. A name that also to pay attention to that you guys love, Darnell Savage. So we'll do a more deep dive into all of that over the weekend. Who do you guys like? Let me get your comments here before I get out of here. Kennelly, bring him back. I think he got somewhere else. I don't know if he's still a free agent. Let me look here real fast. Ian Kennelly was in the training camp. He made a name for himself, but didn't make the team. It looks like he might be available. Let me see. Right now, Grand Valley, yeah. Yeah, looks like he was waived and hasn't landed anywhere else. But I think that's still a stretch. You need some experience, in my humble opinion. That's a name. Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. I think the draft pick maybe for next year. Yeah. Yeah, Diggs is old, but he's back with Seattle. Why not Harper, Steve? Whiteside at safety. You can do a lot of different things, but they're going to try it. They're going to try different things to get this moving. The loss of Brian Branch is huge, but maybe you get potentially you're able to look at a practice squad at another player that needs an opportunity, but you got to go with your own. It looks like the Legion of Whom is my opinion. Maybe they go on the practice squad of some other team. They go shopping. Maybe it's Darnell Savage, somebody else. But we'll do our lists. We'll try to bring you 4 or 5. But I think the biggest option is going to be internal. You got Hallett and Strickland who've been here. That's 2 more names. And Kirby Joseph. Kirby, we need your knee to be healed. We need the knee to be healed. Big win. We'll talk more in depthly when I got more time. Today was just an overview kind of show just to get it out. Great opportunity to be able to share early thoughts on a good win. But you guys knew, if you're following me, yesterday I told you they were winning. Good research, sound reasoning. They won the game. Check out Crunch Time. You can hear it. And I put it on my X page because I was like, man, the game kind of played out how I always said it would. Eberflus was not. I said I would have been livid if Eberflus locked down Dan Campbell's offense. Something's wrong. Something bad happened. Something is in the mix here that's foul. And I said it nicely too. I said, I don't want to be disrespectful, but Eberflus is terrible. Have a great day. Live, laugh a little bit, power through. Thank you for listening in. Thank you kindly for the kind words. I know you know I'm grinding because you saw me put a video up on YouTube at 2 a.m. You know what, Saki? On the field, we can't have anything nice. But guess what? We're building something here, a community. We're going to follow this journey together. We're going to ride that roller coaster together. We're not going to be calm. This community is going to follow the Detroit Lions, cover them intently, talk about them, and celebrate the wins and losses together. So we can have something nice. It's the Lone Wolves podcast community, the John Jones, the Keys to Wisdom, the Lions Forever, the Sakis, the Steve Wilds, the Steve Laymans, Waldorf Lion, 784, Robert Ward, Joseph O, Kevin Jeffrey. We're building something nice here. I can feel it. Nice momentum, good viewership. We're only going to keep growing. More and more podcasts, more and more opportunities to spend hours together. We can have something nice. We can have a nice community of football fans that like to talk football, that don't deflect, and can have civil conversations. it's tough with the injuries. I'm not going to lie. I have 50 shorts. Half of them on my YouTube channel are just me complaining about the injuries. I hate them as much as you. I hate them as much as you. They set me off as much as you. It's like a big swift kick in the pants. You have a good player, he goes down to injury. $5 super chat from Steve. Keep grinding. And that's right. With a community like this that supports, it's only going to get better. And I'll never forget all you guys. Never. Don't ever let me forget. Hey, remember the early days? I'll never forget the early gifts and those that gave super chats and were willing to give a guy that my colleagues don't trust. How are you not going to trust me? Because you might use a couple cuss words. I might exaggerate a little bit. I might use a couple spicy words. I mean, was that, listen, I declared my love in a heterosexual way to the donor. Maybe that wasn't the most professional thing to put on the internet, but I'm always going to be real. If I feel it, I'm going to post it. I'm not going to censor myself. That's me. That was my feeling when I saw $400 million. There's a post of me going, I love you, Mr. Williams, but I'm straight and married, but I'm in love with him. Like, we cannot have that guy in this building. What is wrong with him? Have a blessed day, everybody. Steve, let's wait for the Ram stuff for the weekend. We'll start breaking it down. This was just a boom, Lions win, bad news branch. Leave your comments on what's going on. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the gifts. You guys make it worth it to not sleep. I could go another 2 hours, but I got to fly. I got more content to put out on the Lions on SI website. Peace and love, laughter. Have a good time. We'll keep it going in the comments. I'll be peeking in. This is the Lone Wolves podcast, available anywhere your favorite content is available. What do you think of the game? What do you think about Brian Branch? What's the best option? We'll hit the comments later on today, and make sure you follow. Just hit that scroll. That's all the info you need. You'll find me directly. Let's talk this weekend for sure. I'm the Doc, John Macaron.